Ryan Rody family. A very popular surname around these parts is Ryan. So the Ryans of Clondeen, Cappamore, County Limerick were distinguished by calling them the Ryan Rodys. Why Rody? We find the name Rodger appears a number of times in this Ryan family, and so Rodger, shortened to Rody, was used. I've traced the Ryan Rodys of Clondeen to 4 brothers born around famine times, 1832, 35, 40 and 45. Michael, Martin, Denis and Rodger, and also who they were married to. Here's the 4 brothers. We'll look at Dinis first. He lived on the Bog Road. Lived here. This is house B on the map. See it there. The other houses are all outhouses. This would be one of the outhouses now, where another niece of theirs lived in later years. She lived to be 103. That's where she lived, in C, an outhouse. Bill Franklin and Michael Ryan Rody at Bilbo Cross done it up for her when she moved back there. Anyway, we'll go back to Dinis and Joanna and their 7 children, and we'll concentrate on one of them. We'll go to Joanna first. Joanna married her first cousin, Michael, over the road, only a half a mile in this house, and they had this many children: Joe, Mary, Biddy, Johnny and Mikey. Johnny got married to Noni Burke. In 1966 they had Mike, who married Carmel O'Keefe from Tipperary Town, and they have now got Eva and Laura. Now we move on to Katie. Katie married Tom Dwyer. They had Din and Ned. Din, with Josie Brazel, had Tom, Ned, John, Breda, Catherine and Mary. Then Rodger is next, 1877. Rodger married Jo Handlahan from Waterford. They had Dinis, Stella, John, Anne and Joss. Connie went to America, so we go straight on to Jack, who married Mary Foley from North Cork. They had Josephine, who married Quilty, and they had Esther, who lives in Bruff. Again, we'll skip Mary because she went to the USA, and we'll go to Bridget, who married James O'Brien, again a Bruff connection. They had Pat, Dinis and Jamesy. Pat's son, Sean O'Brien, lives in Bruff still. Now if you remember Rodger, who got married to Handlahan, well, their son John, who got married to White, had 7 children. They had Mary, Rodger, Michael, Johnny, Joan, Anne, Declan. Mary with Eamon Carew. They had Heather in 1973. Heather with Roberto from Italy have Ailish and Isabel. Then Rodger plus Marie have Susie. Michael plus Margaret Babinder have Michael and Margaret. Also Michael plus Christine Carew have Connor. Then you have Johnny, born 1953, plus Sheila Fairgrave. They have Wesley and Stacia. Then we have Joan, who married Bob Stewart. They had Caroline, Craig and Joanne, also plus Bob Stewgras. And next is Anne, who married Eamon O'Brien, and they have Kieran, Rebecca and Colin, and then we have Declan. We go back again to Rodger and Joe Handlahan and their son Denis this time. He married Judy English, and there's their children, Pat, Rodger, Joan and Dinis, and who they're married to, and their children. All these people came from Dinis on the Bunk Road, and they lived in House B. The front wall is still there in House B. You can see it still today. In the 1901 census, Dinis and Joanna Ryan Luke, they had 5 of their 7 children still living there. 10 years later, in the 1911 census, they had just themselves, and we can assume maybe they were dead by 1920, which would make them, gone into their 80s. Denis's house is actually in Kyle, the townsland of Kyle. It's only across the road from Clonteen. If you punch in these numbers into Google Maps, it'll take you there.